Find your own voice, lead from within. If it is your first time uh, to be at Ngozi Talk Shows, please subscribe to our channel. With me today, Dr. Laura, please introduce yourself to our audience.
Sure. Hey, everybody. My name is Dr. Laura Cobb. I am a life coach, actually a mind shift coach, a licensed professional and nationally certified counselor, two-time international bestselling author, and a global impact speaker. I work with professional women and so that they can show up in alignment with their values and morals, to show up and be seen on stages, to have their voices heard, and on pages, to have their words written and read from the books that I help to publish.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Dr. Laura. So our topic today is moving beyond the pain of losing someone you love. Basically, I chose this topic because actually Dr. Biggett was going to be here. She's a grieving coach, but she had to go for emergency. And Dr. Laura, you decided to step in, and which is something that I think you touched the last time when we were talking about it. You went a little bit about losing someone, and you were like, I'm gonna come back and we're gonna talk more. So I'm glad that you are here today. Basically, when you lose someone in life, sometimes it can feel that something has been stripped away from you. It can feel that the memories, the promises that were made for you to spend the rest of your life with your parents, it could be your children, it could be your husband, it could be anyone. It could be some, maybe losing a job or anything when you're grieving. It could feel that something has been stripped away. So, Dr. Laura, please, how do you relate with this topic? And please just share with our audience.
Well, that this topic is so relevant in my life right now. My father has stage 4 out of 5 Parkinson's, and he's on hospice. And he's just about, I would say, at the cognitive functioning of maybe a 6-month-old. So there's a reversion back to infantile state. And it's challenging, it's difficult knowing that we all are going to pass, we're all going to transition, and knowing that it's so close, that it's frustrating, it's difficult, it's painful to see the challenge of him wanting to communicate and not able to in a way that he's used to, wondering to what extent he understands and knows that trying to be helpful while there's not the ability to in a way that he might understand. So it's the challenge is, at least for me at this point, reconciling hurts and pains from the past and allowing for the forgiving. So the beauty of it is that there's time to reconcile that, and it's not an abrupt ending where that opportunity has been taken away.
So thank you so much, Dr. Biggett. I love that. That is powerful that you basically have come to a realization that your father is not going to be here very long, and that you're using that opportunity to reconcile the pain, that whatever that might be, because we all always have some questions and answers that we want our parents to answer, or we want to understand some circumstances that went on. But some people, they never use that. When someone is going in, they go into resentment, or they basically dwell in the past and enter the blame game and fear as well, instead of basically face the situation of what is going on. And don't worry about the traffic, Dr. Laura. It's fine. Don't worry. When the cars comes, don't worry. Just get on with it. Um, so I'm really, really pleased that you are using basically the time that you have with your dad to basically go deep. so that you know that when it goes, you're not gonna regret anything. For me, basically, when my dad passed away, he basically the doctors gave him 1 week, and I remember talking to him when I was 5, telling me that, Nomsa, I have got 1 week to live. And I'm going, I don't want to lie to you. And I remember in that moment, those moments, us talking about the things that were very, very important. And I remember asking him that, how much do you love me? And he was like, you are my baby. I will always love you. And I will always, always basically take a bullet for you. So I want you to know that. But that reassurance, it didn't make it better when he went. It didn't make it better. Basically, it made things worse. But some people respond, if I knew what I knew now, I would have responded differently. But I'm glad that you have worked on your personal development and you are a coach and you also basically doing the right thing. And I hope that you will find peace when that time comes. And also, we have to know that we are all going, like what you're saying, that we're all going that way. And I'm glad that you. How old is your dad?
He's 78.
That's amazing. That means he's lived his life. That is amazing.
It just
Yeah.
seems young. It still seems young.
Yeah.
My stepdad is 80 and my mother is 76 and my stepmother 74. So there's this anticipatory grief that this is going to happen, and it's like right there. At the same time, recognizing that, and also try and living in the moment right now, and appreciating the moments now, as opposed to anticipating what's to come, because we can live our lives that way, because we all are come into this world and we all leave. And not, I think there's a point where part of it, I think, is seeing from where I came, and also confronting one's own mortality. And that's, I think that's a beautiful thing, that we can come to grips, or at least if leaning into it, knowing that it's going to happen, obviously, that to maximize the time that we have. And when I think about the 86,400 seconds every day, what use am I making of those seconds? I mean, we've been on for almost 8 minutes. So what is that, 3,200 seconds? What is it, 320 seconds? I don't know. My math is not so great anymore. So that said, it's challenging, because every moment that passes is a moment that's gone. Are you in it, or are you wasting time? Each breath is gone. So how well do I live in gratitude? Now, and looking back, having no regrets. Mute.
How many do you have?
What?
What? I can hear the birds whispering in your background.
There are birds outside.
Oh,
Sometimes the
really?
motorcycles come out. Sometimes the motorcycles. There's a stop sign right next to my.
Oh, they
Right.
stopped. Why did they stop?
Oh, the birds. I don't know. Maybe
Yeah, they
there they are.
stopped. They stopped and they started again. Yeah, I thought they were yours.
No, I don't. They're not my birds. But sometimes the motorcycles come, and then there's a bus stop for a school right outside, so it can be fairly loud.
All right. Okay. Okay. Awesome. Awesome. I actually like it, Dr. Laura, when you say actually every breath that we take, every breath basically that we take, every moment, we have to be grateful for our breathing. We have to be grateful of the people that we have in our lives. And that's why actually used to waste time myself. And I used to waste time arguing with members of my family and not understanding that we are all different. It's okay to have a misunderstanding. It's okay to basically being misunderstood instead of spending time and worrying and basically being having these big egos and saying, I'm not going to talk to this person because of what they have done to me. And now I'm in a realization where every life is precious to me, because if I love that person, no matter how much they upset me or anything, I have to understand that we are all different. And I have to play my part and give them unconditional love, because when that person goes, there will not be a time where you can reconcile with that person. There will not be a time where you can create memories. So I think it is very, very important for us to create the memories that we desire with our loved ones, and to create good memories with ourselves as well, because we have dreams that we basically have purpose in life. But it's not about just creating and building businesses. It's about us enjoying life as well. So I think it is very, very important for people to understand that how we respond when someone leaves, or when we are told that this person is going, is very, very important for us to actually hold on to those memories that we've had with that person, the good ones, and let go of whatever that they had, to whatever that they might be, because the energy goes. Uh, when your loved ones, I don't know your beliefs. I used to listen to everyone about death. When someone says when people die, they stay with you and you connect with them, until I basically had. I had this a little bit of a situation in my life, but then that's when I realized, actually, we hold on to the energy. The energy, we create the energy. Whatever we hold on to, the energy is created at that moment. If we hold on to hatred, we hold on to blame. If we hold on to that person, when they die, they can't leave. Their soul cannot leave, because they feel that they have unfinished business with you. So that means that you're holding them to, instead of them going to heaven, wherever they want to go. So you're holding them. So sometimes it's nice to grieve. It's nice to not to be okay, but at the same time, it's nice to let it go and cherish the memories. I don't know, what are your thoughts about this?
Well, I know that there's something out there, and I know I'm not it.
Yeah,
So something happens. I don't know what. Uh, I don't follow dogma or doctrine. It's, I guess, it's the point of all of life. It's a process of learning that is bigger than me. I'm just
yeah,
part of it.
yeah,
And when it comes down to science, I read. What did I read? I read. There was some statistics that what are the odds that we're here on this earth right now? That the fact that you and I are talking. You ready for this? Okay. So I'm not sure if you're familiar with Mel Robbins. She had a TED Talk. She's a speaker, and I think in 2010, she had a TED Talk on what are the odds that we're here. And there was a Harvard researcher in the audience when she gave her talk, and he added on to the statistics that she quoted. And so the odds of us existing, you and I exist right here today, that the quantity, the probability that we came about and exist right now. So the fact that the probability of our father meeting our mother is about 1 in 200 million. So what does that mean? That means that I'm reading the statistics now. I haven't saved that almost 200 million of out of the women that over the world is smaller than it was smaller 20 years ago. Our father that could have not did meet as almost 200 million that our father would have met our mother. Now, over 25 years, which is about the length of time that we used to have our life expectancy back in the day, was about 1 in 10,000. So when you add those together, that's about 1 in 20,000. That's the odds that our father, biological, would have met our mother. So what does that mean? That means that even though that's possible, we have to take into account how likely it would have been that they would have had a second date or had met twice long enough that they would have been together to have children. So a 1 in 10 chance that they would have met a second time, for example, and a 1 in 10 chance that they'd keep staying together in order to have a child. And then that would become about 1 in 2,000. So the combined efforts of that, the odds that we're here right now, is about 1 in 40 billion. That's about, 40 million. That's about the size of California. So this is where it gets interesting. Women create about 100,000 eggs in their entire lifetime, whereas men produce about 4 trillion sperm during just the years that we could have been born, which is right now. The chance of that one sperm meeting that one egg is about 1 in 400 quadrillion. That's a lot. However, when we're just getting started about that. So what does all this mean? When we think about the odds of all of our ancestry having survived since about 150 generations, 150,000 generations, that number of 1 in 400 quadrillion over the span of all those generations, and you take down the numbers, I'm not going to read you a bunch of statistics. It's the equivalent of, imagine that anywhere on the face of the earth, all the water, there's one of those ringed life preservers, life floats, is just thrown off anywhere, and you don't know where it's going to land anywhere in the water that takes up the circumference, it's the surface of the earth. And there's one turtle anywhere ever, we don't even know where it's at. It could be right next to that, where that life preserver lands, or it could be completely around the earth, that there's one turtle. The chances of that one turtle, as that life preserver lands and hits the surface of the water, putting its head up in the center of that life preserver on the very first time, that's the chance. Saying it another way, imagine you have a size of a city like 2 million, which is like about the size of San Diego, California. And every single one of those residents has a dice with 500 million sides. It's not 6 sides, 500 million sides. And every single residence has one of those dice. And each one of those residents roll the dice one time, and every single resident rolls the exact same number. 2 million people roll that one dice that has that many sides on it. The very first try, they roll every single thing. Every single person has rolled the same number. That's like barely, that's like almost 0% chance that we're here. So what a blessing it is. When we think about those numbers, that they're completely unfathomable, literally a miracle. And living out our life till whenever it is we pass or transition, just savoring that possibility, and then enjoying every experience that we can have, even with grief and sorrow, and those are the hard emotions to lean into. I would imagine that if we were always a party, then that would be normal. Then we wouldn't necessarily know what total elation is, because it's relative. So what are you doing with your life? The anticipatory grief, it's only, for me, as I understand, it's only helpful to the extent of realizing that I'm going to not have what I've had before. That holding on, it's like a pit bull, or not a pit bull, a dog, on the pull toy, I want it, and resisting that, instead of realizing that it's inevitable. That's just part of life. That's where I think the challenge is reconciling that it's just is.
That is so true, Dr. Laura. We actually have no chance. Like we have to basically embrace every moment we are here on earth. And if someone goes, our loved one goes, it's something that we don't have control over. Because when we are being told that our loved ones are gone or they have so much time, we don't have control over that situation. So you have to let go of what you cannot control and basically, instead of taking life for granted, have this gratitude of the memories that the chance that we have had to spend time with that person. Sometimes some people might struggle, maybe they don't get on with that person and stuff. But sometimes it's nice when you are being put a life changing situation. Some people they decide to reconcile, but some people they're like, I'm not gonna do it. Why do I have to be the one that is doing it? So basically they go on, and for me basically I'm like, if you are being told that, if it was before maybe I got into personal
Mhm.
development, maybe I'll still have that way. I'll be like having this ego to be like hold on to conflict, but now I do understand that we do take life for granted, we do take people for granted. But grieving for someone is sometimes it helps you to give unconditional love, because when someone is ill, you have to be prepared to resolve if there is conflict in your life. And for me, I've lost basically, I lost my grandmother, I lost my dad, I lost my stepdad and my stepmom. So these are the people that I grew up with, the people that protected me. And if someone comes and tells me that I have a problem with this person, I look back at my life and I'm like, if you only knew that people don't last long, you hold on to what you have. Because those are the memories. I basically remember I got my citizenship in the UK 2010, and the last thing was like celebrating. I'm going to see my family, and while I was celebrating, I lost my grandmother, the woman that raised me when my parents were working. And so when someone tells me that I have a problem with this person and I'm choosing to hold on to pain, for me, basically what I remember is comes to me is, if you knew that we are not here, like what you were saying, Laura, Dr. Laura, that we are not here basically for long. There's a zero chance. Some people, like I went to an event during that was before COVID,
Mhm.
and this event I had so much fun, really, really so much fun. Everything was done in order perfectly, and we leave the event, everything is fine. And this girl, after the event, went on and meet her in a hotel. Just I got to have an opportunity to say thank you for arranging the event and stuff and everything. And the next thing, a few months later, I read on Facebook, I see one of our friends put on Facebook that she's passed. And I was like, please tell me that is a joke. And I remember scrolling down the message, scrolling down over and over and over. And then I see there's a group emergency that has been created for people to come in and those she has helped. And I was like, please tell me that this is a mistake. I was in denial. Basically, I couldn't believe it that she's gone. The person that was fine, there was nothing wrong with her. She was so busy making sure that everyone else was happy. And 1 minute she's gone. So I was like, it feels like you were not here for long, like what you were saying. So basically, it basically taught me a lesson that every person that I meet, I have to appreciate them. I have to appreciate their energy and their presence, and just live in peace with that person, because I didn't know that girl was going to die, but she did die. And what you're saying, it just confirms that in life there are no guarantees for tomorrow. Over to you, Dr. Laura.
There is no guarantee for tomorrow. There is one guarantee that there's going to be that one tomorrow,
Yeah,
maybe before you die.
yeah.
Um, so that's the only day. That's one. Well, we can't count on one thing. There's going to be that one day.
Yeah.
There will be no tomorrow. We're going to die that day. Yeah, not the day before. It's the day we die. If we could foresee that, I wonder. I sometimes I wrestle with if I'd want to know. You know, what I mean, kind of. I mean, I know me. I'd be like, oh god, the last few days I'd be like freaking out, and every single day would be like that intensity would build and build and build and build, and I wouldn't be able to contain it. Like I can't handle this. I know I'm going to be gone. Like I'd be a whirling dervish, kind of running around, going, I got to make amends. I got to say I'm sorry. I got to have remorse. I got to feel this. Yeah, there's the that's not a way to live either. So, I don't think that I would do this, but I could see someone. I gotta make them know that they hurt me. I gotta make them feel what I felt. I'm gonna make their life a living hell because I'm not gonna be living for so long. Great, what a way to live, you know? I mean, what a way to live the rest days of your life for like trying to get up. Do I want to be right or I want to be happy? And even if I think I'm right, I could, even if I know that I'm right, even if I know it, I gotta, oh, it's just, I can't imagine just creating that cell, that jail for the mind. What a terrible way to live.
Yeah, it's a prison,
Yeah.
just prisoning your mind.
Yeah. And then what if I knew, and then I'd start getting more resentful the closer I get to that day. Like, they're going to take this from me. Or if I'm really young and know that I'm going to die like in a week, or even like I say a year or 10 years, whatever it is. And then not living out my life with gratitude for knowing, other than making those last. If I have like a year, can you imagine how hellacious that torment would be if you knew you're going to die like in a year, and it's just like that whole year of living in. Ugh, God, I just can't. I'm so mad. I just want to get this over with, and I want to make them pay before I die. Oh, what a terrible way. So I don't know if I'd want to know. I don't know, so I know that, and it's probably not likely I'm going to find out. So why don't I just relinquish any control over that and just forget about it? You know, if I live every day with intention and gratitude, then it's not a problem.
Yeah, that is amazing. Just to live every day with the intention of gratitude. I've watched my life with the people that I come across. Some of them I see them today, and like that was during lockdown. I went to church, and there was this woman. She had gave birth to her twins. I think they were 1 year boys, and I go to church and we worship. She's there, and when a few days later, after in the week, then we get a message that she passed in her sleep. So I was like, this is just keeps getting better and better. And it makes me, the more I witness those kind of things, it makes me appreciate more and more. And it makes me go crazy with my family. Basically, I'm refusing to fight members of my family. My family, I even created a group. When I have a disagreement with someone, I tell them that it's okay to disagree. We don't
Yeah.
have to think in the same way, but I refuse to fight my blood. I refuse because I don't want to be remembered as someone who was fighting people. So I refuse to do that because, like you were saying, that there's a guarantee that you're going to live that next day.
Mm-hmm.
And the following day, there are no guarantees.
Yep, it's gone. Gone. Bye bye. It's just
So we have to be grateful.
right.
And also, we survived the pandemic as well. So that makes us special, and that makes us basically have to honor those who couldn't make it.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
that means that we have to. Can you imagine? Your basically your dad survived the pandemic. He
Yeah.
survived it, and he's actually you are having this opportunity to actually having to get closer to him. And last time when you were talking about it, we all got so emotional because those were special moments that you go through to him when no one else could. So those are special moments that you will remember them. And even when you talk, even sometimes it might help you to heal as well when that time comes when he goes. That you'll be able to remember the times. God will help you to remember the times. I don't know whatever your beliefs might be, All I know is when you are crying, the
Mhm.
universe or God, they respond with how you respond. Like if you need help, or if you are basically said the universe doesn't read tomorrow, it doesn't read the messed up life, the universe will remind you that what about the person that is inside you, the person
Mhm.
that is amazing, the person that is not afraid, where is that person going when you're crying? So he would try to help you to remember the good times, the amazing person that you are, which when something happens we refuse to live who we are. We refuse to remember our goodness within us. We remember the bad times. We remember what could have been, instead of hold on to these good memories that we've created with our loved ones. So sometimes there were times where I look at my grieving with my father, that I had good times with my dad, but then I chose to ignore those good times. I chose to be like, why did God take him away? So
Mhm.
and okay, that's good. And sometimes it's nice to actually cherish those memories. So do you want to go now, or are you going in 10 minutes?
I have to start getting ready at quarter till the hour.
Quantity.
Pardon?
Okay. So you're gonna leave the quantity.
Yeah, I need to leave in about 10 minutes.
Okay. Okay, that's fine. Oh,
Mhm.
you can do the talk. That's fine.
You want me to do the talk?
I mean, you can take over now. That's fine.
Oh,
Before
I
you
don't want to take over. I want a dialogue.
go.
Um, I just, for consulting with you, conversing with you, for someone who's been through it. I mean, I've seen other people, my husband and my ex-husband, and I mean, just life, like my aunts and uncles and all that. And the difficulties, their person's dead. They're
Yeah.
not probably not, living where they're just like, oh man, I can finally breathe or whatever it is. But
Yeah.
the hell can be here on earth because I can make it a hell. I put like just toxicness with my words, and then also just even in the chat room, like just the type of words that deflate rather than lift up. And I just don't get it. The whole like this negativity and judging the world and thinking that the world is out to get you, and then in constantly being watched. It's just so difficult for me to even understand. And I guess I don't have to understand it. I guess I just need to accept it because that's so for me. Like when have a I have a picture. Where is it? It's me and my son, right? Okay. Ah, yeah.
Is that
So
your son?
well, that's him when he's 13 now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Um, that unabashed joy and curiosity. And, oh my gosh, that's how that works and whatnot. That just to be appreciative of it. Because sometimes I go through my old photos, and I have so many of them, um, and then thinking about I just lost my train of thought. It completely lost me. That little child. And actually, what's coming up for me now is knowing that my son may very well is likely going to have to do this one day. I
Yeah.
hopefully will not last longer than him. Um, so I suppose that what's the meaning of life? It's got to be purpose. What's your why? Who hears you? Because if you speak to what you know, I don't mean education. That could be part of it, but that's not what I mean. Um, that I can really savor each word that you say and reflection of who you are as a phenomenal, fabulous woman. Words have meaning. They can be used to uplift and elevate or to take down and assault.
Yeah.
So and also pour into what people sometimes I'm just so burnt out, I'm so burnt out, I'm stressed out. Yeah, I get it. So then when I sense that that person is in that state again, because emotions come, feelings come and go. It's like a tide, wave. Well, do I allow my people who follow me and I follow them, including family members, to be, if they're afraid to say anything because they think that vulnerability is weak, and I don't get that. I think it's the most courageous thing you can do for yourself. That go. There's no time like the present. Don't miss a breath. And if it's labored in any way, there's nothing more important than to create and cultivate those healthy, nurturing relationships that we have with others.
Yeah.
I spent 12 years in college, wrote some papers, listened to some people speak, ran my own university classes after that. And why? Afraid to grow up. Afraid because feeling like an egomaniac with an inferiority complex. But not imposter syndrome, because knowing my purpose and the quality of the content I provide is definitely unquestionable. So how then, I think the biggest thing is, how can we love ourselves? How can we, if we are requiring anything from another person in terms of communication and whatnot, how well do I see me? Because intimacy is into me, you see. Healthy relationships with dialogue that communicates enthusiasm for them and appreciation because of my enthusiasm. It's like mirroring. When we say in the helping profession, it's just mirroring the client, mirroring the emotions. So if my son comes over to my Yaya's house and takes off his shoes, he knows that's what's expected. Well, in my way of life, living my life, what are your boundaries? What do you know that's accepted, or that you can? No, maybe at your home phone. How then do we transfer that to our life when that person in California is open or rolling the dice with however many million other people? To me, is one person. I think it is one person at a time. We're just part of the forest. We can get past the trees, acknowledging what they offer in our lives, and also at the same time moderating how helpful this is. Though the hard thing is, like, what, living life every day is hard, but you know what? So is driving a car.
Yeah.
You learn to do it using the computer.
Yeah.
How many times were you unable to get on live stream when you wanted to, when you started, or any time for that matter? You know
Many
what to do.
times.
You know what to do, but life gets in the way sometimes.
Yeah.
So it's about coping.
Yeah.
I think the big part about it is, at least for my judge, her car, she sits. I can't see that. I have this chair back there in the corner, literally. That when she comes to visit, merely, you weren't invited. That's rude of you to stop by because I got things I got to do. Not really rude. It's an imposition that I'm going to stop my entire day just because of. Are you bleeding? Are you hurt? I mean, are you on fire? No? Okay, well, I don't have to worry about putting out that fire today. Then I was just in a room on Clubhouse about procrastination. How then do we know that we're procrastinating, and for what reason?
That's true. That is so true, Dr. Laura. And when you are saying it, it actually is so painful for those people who are basically living in a judgmental world. Basically, we don't appreciate, because like when you're breathing, you have to appreciate. Like you were showing me the picture of your son. How many people out there who can't have children, who wish they could have children of their own, who can't have them? And you basically find some people, although they have lost their loved ones, they still have their children to give a hug. They still have so many things to be grateful of, but they are not. They're like, why? Why would this person be taken away? We all gonna go the same way. It sounds horrible,
Mm,
when we are saying it, but we're all going the same way. And also, it's like the grieving process is very, very different.
mm,
For me, basically, I've lost the people that the elders that raised me, but
mm,
every stage of their grief has been different. So if someone says, if I grieve like this, it's gonna be better. If I grieve that way, for me, basically, what worked is accepting and letting go
right.
and embracing and having gratitude of what I have, as well the people that I have around me, and also my stepdad. He had children with my mom, and just looking at those children and saying to myself, I'm gonna make a better life for you. And then looking at my mom and saying, well, how can I save you? He's not here
Mm,
anymore. How can I save you as your daughter, and making sure that you are happy? And those are the things that made me basically makes me happy, and being able to serve someone else instead of looking at things in a different way. So just looking at him how he was, and looking at my father how he was, and realizing that he left the kids behind, and basically looking at those kids, children as my siblings, and making sure that they are okay, and asking them every single day, how can I save you? How can I make things better for you? And instead of me dwelling on my father is not here anymore and all these things, and I find that when I actually do something to help somebody else, it helps the situation. It helps because you look at their smile, like my siblings. I have my mom, they lost their mom as well. They lost my stepmom as well. So they no longer have parents.
yes.
So so when I look at them, I'm like, I'm not gonna take life for granted. And and I look at it as every time we live, each and every day, there's a date that has been marked that this is going to be your date, this is going to be your date of death, this is going to be this, someone is born, someone leaves the earth. So might as well have gratitude that I'm still breathing, that I'm still at gossip talk shows, having people find their own voice and lead from within. And
Mm.
I'm going to pass it over to you, Dr. Laura. I know you want to go. Do you have any words of encouragement to the audience before you leave?
Lean in, lean in, because if you do, when you do, those feelings of joy and elation and gratitude will get you through those times where it doesn't feel like you have any.
That's powerful.
Thank you.
That's powerful. Thank you so much. I think I'm just going to close the audience as well. I'm going to leave as well because it wouldn't feel right to me speaking by myself. So we nearly finished anyway. So thank you so much, Dr. Laura. And please, those you are at Clubhouse, how can people find you?
Well, if they wanted to go to Clubhouse, they just look for Dr. Laura Cobb, and it's Dr.
Okay.
Yeah. And then I'm on my Instagram. I'm sorry, on my LinkedIn. It's just Dr. Laura Cobb at the end. They can
Okay,
get on.
yeah, you've got your name is here anyway, so they can
Yeah,
find you. Yeah, yeah,
right.
just Google you, just type on Instagram or LinkedIn, and you are you on YouTube channel as well?
I'm not. I'm balancing. I was on just all these. I think YouTube was not the one I'm not on. I have some videos, but they're not appropriate for
She's at
professional.
Clubhouse. She's big at Clubhouse, guys. So you want to follow her, find her at Clubhouse. She's big there. She lives there basically.
Not do.
She basically
I do
empowering
not.
every day.
I do
Honestly,
not.
guys,
I do
you
not.
want words of encouragement and to be empowered, go to Clubhouse. She's there. She's
I
there.
can neither
Honest.
confirm nor deny.
Yeah, she's there. Anyway, live with grace, everyone, and God bless.
Yes. Likewise.